Today, I'm talking to my friend Rachel Luna, who is a fellow podcast and live event host, an author, and a confidence expert. We seriously covered so much in this conversation, everything from the importance of keeping promises to ourselves and how that promotes confidence, to cultivating an identity that aligns with what you want most in life. I loved this conversation, and I know you will too. Thanks for tuning in today. I have someone with me that I fell in love with her initially hearing her on someone else's podcast. Do you ever do that when you listen to someone and you feel like, yeah, I could totally hang with this person? Well, then I got the opportunity to meet her at an event and become real life friends. So Rachel Luna, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me. That was such an awesome intro.
It's true. I heard you on our girl Lori Harder's podcast.
Hi, Lori.
And do you have those really influential podcasts where you even remember where you were when you were listening to them? I was in the parking lot of the tamale store.
Yes.
And it's actually called the Tamale Store in Phoenix. Shout out to them.
Hey.
Sponsor me because I love your tamales.
Oh my gosh, that would be so
They're
great.
amazing, right?
Yes.
Wouldn't that be great? Powerhouse Women brought to you by the Tamale Store. And
I think you should pitch them.
I
think you should. Yeah. Okay. Send them this interview. They're going to love it.
We'll pitch them afterward. Look at that. See, when you get together with like-minded women, you come up with new business ideas like that. And that
I love to help people make money. I'm all about it. What? We want to make more money today? Come on. I got 62 ideas. Let's go.
Let's go. Mm-hmm. Do you ever find, and I'm we're literally just diving in the deep end here. Do you ever find yourself, sometimes I will actually be in a conversation with someone that I'm in the middle. Maybe I'm at idea 30 of the 62 that I have for them. Mm-hmm. And I realize, oh my, I'm definitely overwhelming them right now with all the ideas I have for businesses they should start.
Oh, okay. So this is doesn't matter how it sounds. It's what I'm going to say. I remember in my earlier years having that issue. You know what helps you get rid of that? Having a client fire you because they've been overwhelmed. So here's what happened.
Real quick.
Oh, by the way, listener, my name is Rachel Luna. Hi.
We're going to get to your story in a moment, but this is we literally so we connected on this to record, and 15 minutes in, I was like, girl, we have to hit record because we're going to, all this good stuff isn't on the recording now.
There was a lot of good stuff. I actually secretly was thinking man, these are good nuggets. Okay, but so let me tell you this quick story because this is great. We were talking about how sometimes you're so green in the beginning that you're out there, you put all your offers, you're not afraid because you don't know yet what it feels like to fail, and you don't know what it feels like to fail in front of people. So those are two different areas. But here I was with this client, and she was like, I want to know the whole picture. And I was like, I don't think that's a good idea, because if I tell you the whole picture, you're going to get overwhelmed. I need you to just do step 1. I didn't even see you doing step 1. Why should I tell you step 10? And let's just pause here for a second, because I think this is a really important piece that so many women forget or don't even know. When you're thinking about your vision, I know that you want to see your whole vision. Everybody wants to see the whole picture, but that's not how God does it. Because if you could see the fullness of what was prepared and planned for you, if you could see the anointing that's on your life, you would literally seize up in anxiety and freeze. I know, because one time God showed me and I was like, oh, I can't. I passed out. Okay, somebody bring me 2. Okay, so she wanted to see all the steps, and I'm looking at her like, slow your roll, sister. So she goes, then she comes back the next week. Ever since I started working with you, my business is going backwards and da-da-da-da-da. Now, when she said this, I'm from New York and I'm Puerto Rican. And this was 8 years ago. So at that time, I didn't have the kind of tools that I have in my tool belt right now as a coach to receive her more with love. And I am a real talk coach, but even then I was just really rough. So I was like, hold on, let me stop you right there. What do you mean ever since you started working with me, your business has taken a backslide or whatever? What did you do this week? Show me. I need receipts, because I know you're not going to come up into this call telling me that I'm not helping you when I have a whole, like, I just read this girl her right. And if you're listening, I'm sorry. I'm a much better coach now, but I was a very effective coach back then. So I was surprised. So then she says, I just don't get it. I need to see the whole thing. I was like, okay, you want to see the whole thing? Good to go. Get your pen and paper out. I tell her the whole plan that I have for her. She's like, okay, you were right. This is very overwhelming. I can see how it's all going to work, but like, I don't think I can do this. At this point, I was so tired of her ass. I was like, great. I don't think we should do this either. And she was like, I don't want to work with you anymore. I was like, great. You also not getting your money back. So have a good day.
Okay, this is so important to talk about, though. I actually did a podcast on exactly what you're saying because, and I'm sure you see it all the time, I was guilty of it. I never wanted to get started without the full plan. I wanted to be able to see that these steps were going to lead to where I wanted. And now looking at how the last 5 years has unfolded, had I been able to see where I'm at, even right now, 3 years ago, when this all started, this would have terrified me.
Yes.
Because I wasn't ready. I wasn't this woman yet. So it's such a good reminder for those of you, no matter where you're at, if you're just starting or if you're starting something new and you're like really ready to up level, you're not going to see the full path because it would absolutely freak you out. I love that you shared that so much.
And also, I think sometimes we overcommit to how we think it's supposed to look. And when we're so fixated on that, then we can't really see even a bigger possibility. I was driving yesterday, was it day before? And I was praying and I was like, okay, God, here's what I want to see. And I'm just making my demands before God, which, by the way, you can do that because he's a gentleman and he wants to take care of you. So I'm like, God, this is what I want to see. And I'm not seeing it. And I'm looking for this and I'm laying, and all of a sudden I almost felt the hand of God just slap me. Like, you ever see it like a mush? You know what a mush is? Do you remember? A mush is when, okay, so listener, come on, be with me. Those of you that are from New York, circa 1980, you know what I'm talking about. So a mush is where you take your hand and you push it against the temple of someone else and you just mush them to the side, like kind of like slap them across the head just a little, ever so gently. So God does this and he says, you're so busy trying to look for what you want to see that you're not listening to what I'm trying to show you. And what I'm trying to show you is bigger and the blessings are greater. But if you want to keep looking for what you want to see, go right on ahead. I'm trying to do something different. And then I was like, oh, why you had to hurt my feelings at 8:30 in the morning, God? Okay. But it's true, right? We're so focused on how we think it should be. Yeah. But what if you just said, what if you had the confidence to take action on the first step and to trust that as you complete the first step, the next step will be revealed? I always find I get better results when I walk in faith. I'm a faith walker.
Yeah. Okay. So you use the word confidence, and that is what you've literally built your whole brand around on Instagram. You're Girl Confident. Your event is Confidence Activated. Take us back to the beginning. Share the story of how you grew into the woman, the coach that you are today. And, we can share the short version of it, but I know you have an incredible story of building your business and now what you get to pay it forward and teach others. So I would love if you would share, because I don't think a lot of people in my audience know you. So I'd love for them to get to know you.
Okay. Well, so nice to meet you. What's up, homegirl? Hey. Okay. So the long story short is that I was very, very insecure and not confident at all. And a lot of people don't believe that when they first meet me or even listening to me on a podcast, because I'm loud and I'm energetic and I'm passionate and feisty. Oh.
And so is the puppy.
And so's the puppy. And so there's this misconception that because I know how to be an extrovert, that just automatically means I'm confident. No, I just have really good social skills. That's it. Like, anybody can have great social skills and still not be confident at all. And that was me. When I was 3.5 years old, my biological mother died of AIDS. My father also had AIDS, and no one told me this until many years later. So I grew up thinking that my mother died of like natural causes. I was sent to live with my godmother. And when that happened, I told myself this story that I'm not good enough. Everyone I love leaves me because like my mother died, then my father left me. I'm not worthy. Then my father got remarried, believe it or not, with AIDS. I always think he must have had a golden rod because he had girlfriends after my mom. They got AIDS. They died. Anyway. So he got remarried and his wife had a daughter. And I remember that I would ask to go see him and he would tell me he didn't have money. So he couldn't see me, or he would say he was going to come and see me and I'd have all my stuff packed up and then he wouldn't show up. Mm-hmm. And so there was this constant pattern of a lot of letdown. And that in turn created stories of, again, like, I'm not worthy. My dad doesn't love me. I'm abandoned. That was a big story that I was telling myself. That led me to be very promiscuous growing up. I had 2 eating disorders. I became an alcoholic. I became a mistress. Like, I was the other woman. I was so hungry for love and attention and acceptance, but all I really felt was guilt and shame and rejection. And guilt, shame, and rejection are primary roots of fear. So when your identity is tied up in fear, guilt, shame, rejection, there is like no love, right? And all you're doing is looking to fill that void. So I made a lot of wrong turns, and I found myself in the Marine Corps and joining the Marine Corps in 1999. Let me date myself a little bit. And I was with this guy, and I loved this guy so much. I really thought that this was going to be it. And one day I find out that he's happily married, like for real married. I felt like the world came out from under my feet. I remember that was the year that it felt like my whole world was closing in on me. This was in 2005, 2006. And I said, something has to change. I was overweight, not by a lot, but just like enough where my boss in the Marine Corps was kind of picking on me about it. I was over $40,000 in debt, even though I was making almost 6 figures. Everything was broken. And I remember feeling that I was broken. And I know that that's how I was showing up in the world, because later on I met and married my husband. And one day in an argument, my husband said something to the effect of like, I am just trying to, I asked him, what do you see when you look at me? And he said, I see a broken girl who's trying to fix everybody but herself. Mm. And I remember feeling so devastated, because now years had passed and I had done all this work. So back in 2006, I hired a life coach, and she was like, your story is incredible. I was like, what are you talking about? I'm a mess. She said, yeah, but someone like you should not be as far along as you are. With everything that you've been through as a kid, like, you should have been a statistic. How come you're not pregnant? How come you're not a drug addict? Because my parents were both addicts. Mm. And so I was like, I don't know. She's like, how did you get over becoming addicted to alcohol? I was like, I just chose. I just decided one day. And I think that that's a really important lesson. You can change at any moment that you decide you're done with that. And sometimes you decide you're done with it and you have a relapse moment. I really believe that the relapse moments happen because we haven't really anchored in to why we made the decision in the first place. Yeah. And we're not revisiting why we've made those decisions. So if you're in business right now and you're thinking, oh, I want to quit. This is so hard. I'm tired of it. Okay, well, stop and pause. Why did you even want to do this in the first place? Go back to that, anchor it back into that initial vision, and ask yourself, do I still care about that? And if I don't care about that anymore, that's okay too. You can pivot, you can quit, or you can restart something else. But before you get rid of everything, like just go reconnect to why you decided what you decided in the first place. So she says to me, the life coach says to me, you would be a fantastic life coach. I said, nobody is going to want to hear from me. I'm a mess. She said, you're a mess right now. But once you get it together, people are going to want to know how you did it. And because you know how to do it, it's more powerful coming from someone who's been in that situation versus from someone who's just studied the situation.
Right.
And I was like, oh, okay. So I didn't think anything of it. I worked on myself. This is another important point. Sometimes, okay, somebody's feelings are about to get hurt. And I'm not trying to hurt your feelings. I'm just keeping it real because I do love you and I do care about you and I do want the absolute best for you. Mm-hmm. Sometimes, especially if you have a servant heart, you start working on something and right away you're like, I want to teach everybody what I'm doing. And it's like, hold on. You didn't finish even applying it in your own life. You haven't partaken of the very thing that you're trying to offer. So you don't know. Take your tail back, rewind it, work on yourself, get yourself right, get the results for yourself, then show other people how it's done. Yeah. And that was really important to me. So I did something called a clean sweep. Have you ever heard of a clean sweep?
No, unless you've talked about it before.
No, never. No, I've never talked about it. I always try to bring something fresh to everything I do. Like podcasts, I try to make sure I don't talk about the same thing because I like to keep it fresh. Anyway, so just like it'll be fresh at Confidence Activated. Hey, plug. Hey. Okay. So the Clean Sweep is a coaching tool. And basically it's a checklist of 100 things that you should be able to do in a day when you're getting your life together. And it's little things like make the bed, wash dishes, hang up clothes, fold, just the basic things. And my goal was to get to 100. And every day I would try and I'd do like 5 or 10. Like it was an exciting day when I got to 50. And then finally the day came that I did the full 100. That was when I knew like, okay, I've graduated. I've mastered this. This is something that we don't do enough as entrepreneurs. I'm not seeing it enough. I don't see people taking time to master the thing that they said they were interested. No, it's like, I'm going to do this. Oh, shiny object. Now I'm going to do that. Now I'm going to do this. And there's nothing wrong with being multi-passionate. But what I've learned through a lot of trial and error and of being that person that was multi-passionate is that when you try to do all the things because you're trying to satisfy this itch that you have, nothing gets done well. And that's why you have that arrested development. You know who I'm most impressed with? You know, the people that I look up to and admire the most are the people that have taken one thing and scaled the life out of that one thing and done it really, really well. And then bring in that second thing and then come in with the third. So do yourself a favor, give yourself the gift of mastery. Pick one thing in your life that you are going to be the master of. And it could be, you're going to be a master bed maker. Nothing gives me more pride now than making my bed every morning. If that bed is not made, I failed for the day. It doesn't matter all the other great things. It doesn't matter the people whose lives I've changed in that day. If that bed didn't get made, I am out of integrity with myself. Yeah. And nothing is worse than being out of integrity with yourself, because when you don't keep your promises to yourself, that's where the lack of confidence comes in. Yeah. Because your subconscious is like, well, we keep saying we're going to do these things. We don't ever do it. I must not be worthy. I must not be good enough. It's not that you're not good enough. It's that you don't have enough self-integrity. And why don't you have self-integrity? Because your identity is fractured.
Yeah. Which this is such a perfect lead in to when I finally was like, no, we have to hit record. We're talking about so many good things that I know our audience, our listeners are going to want to hear. And, everything that you're doing is really with this underlying foundation of confidence. But we both know that confidence truly comes from that identity piece. Even like what you said, like for you, your identity is in such a way that it is out of integrity for you because you say so, for your bed not to be made in the morning.
Yes.
So
Yes.
talk about just the power of our identity, like because our audience, to give you even just like a little preview of how much they're so in line with the women you talk to all the time. These are women who want to get out of their own way into action around why they were put on the earth and what they're uniquely called to do. And we know that if we just slap some action over missing that identity piece in the foundation, I think that even goes back to what you were saying about not doing the real work to really create that foundation. So talk a little bit about the importance of the identity piece.
So I do also want to mention that confidence is really birth with identity and action.
Yeah.
So let's make sure that we don't forget the action piece. Mm-hmm. The more action you take, the more confidence you're going to have in yourself, period. Right. Because action is directly tied to self-integrity. So now we can talk about identity. So identity, when you know who you are, why you were born, what's so amazing about you, what you believe in, what you value, when you're rooted in that, then you are able to receive abundance. You're able to receive love, right? I talk to so many people that they don't feel they're worthy of making money. I had a coaching call yesterday with some clients, and the one girl, she said something to the effect of, I want to manifest an affordable condo in a good school district. And I said, okay, well, what if we reframe that to, I am so excited that I'm manifesting the condo of my dreams in the best school district. Like, why did you put in that adjective of affordable? She said, because it's what I think I can have. I said, why do you think that? So we start coaching her, right? It all came back to, she didn't feel worthy. Like, she wasn't someone that could ever live in her dream condo. She had to go find what worked within her budget. Mm. And I don't believe that that's how we should be living our life. I'm not looking for the most affordable condo. I'm looking for my dream condo, and the dream condo is going to match and fit into whatever I have available to me. And if it doesn't, I'm going to go out and make more money. Mm. I'm not going to lower my standards. But here's the thing. How do you even know what your standards are? You have to be connected to your identity. So what comprises our identity? It's our belief. What do we believe in? Who do we believe in? I personally believe in God, the Christian God. Okay, so if I believe in God, what does God say about me? Well, God says that I'm wonderful. God says that I was created to have a prosperous life. God says that I'm going to be satisfied with long life. So when I got diagnosed with breast cancer and the doctors had all the things to say, guess what I said? Thank you for your report. I reject it. God said that I will be satisfied with long life in Psalm 91:16, and that is who I am, and that is my fate. And guess what? 24 days later, I was cancer-free. Why? Because I'm so rooted in who I am. So here's another thing, going to the belief. And you don't have to believe in God, right? Pick what you believe in. If you believe you are your God, okay, great. So if you are your God, what does you say about yourself? So here's another thing. If I believe in God, and if God says that I'm fearfully and wonderfully made, if God said that I'm so valuable that he would send his son to die for me, doesn't that mean that I'm worthy? Yes. So every time I say I'm not worthy, I'm calling God a liar. How dare I? That alone makes me fall on my face and like, I repent. So, but again, let's just take the Christian God out of it. What do you believe? And what does your belief system reflect back to you about who you are? What do you value? Okay, let me start again. There are things that you say you value, and then there are things that you are making your value. For example, there are people that will say, I value spending time with my kids. It's so important to me. But then if you were to take a record of their week and log it in and how much time they actually spend with their kids, it's like an hour at most for the entire week of real quality time, eye contact conversation. You don't value spending time with your kids. You value the idea of spending time with your kids. So you can now take audit. If you're listening and you really want to get growth from this podcast, then you are going to be the person that takes action on this. So only if you want growth and only if you listen to podcasts to actually get something from it, not to kill time in the car ride. Here's what you're going to do. You're going to make a list of the things that you think you value, say you value, like the idea of valuing, desire to value, whatever, however you want to frame it. And then audit yourself this week. Don't be trying to change your schedule now to match up with the values. Don't cheat. You're only going to cheat yourself. But just take an audit of how you spend your days. Where you spend the most time, the most energy, where your thoughts go the most, that's what's currently taking value real estate in your life. And if you don't have the life that you desire, if you are not being the person that you want to be, it's because you say you value one thing, but your time and energy and attention value something else. And that needs to marry up. Yeah. Once you marry that up, ooh wee, baby, you're cooking with Crisco. So we have our belief, we have our value, and then we have our desires, what we stand for, what we're passionate about. Some people don't know what they stand for. You can say, like, what's your favorite food? I don't know. There's so many. Okay, if you had to pick Italian or Chinese, I don't know. I can't choose. No, you have to pick something. Draw a line in the sand. What pisses you off? What injustice in the world is driving you crazy right now? For me personally, it drives me crazy that there's no healthcare for alternative medicine, and that all the treatments that I'm doing to stay cancer-free come out of pocket. It's just like, that drives me crazy. So what I value and what's important to my identity is being someone who makes so much money. Like, I want to be a multi-millionaire. Hey, I'm not even mad at billions, but I'm about to be 40. So let's see what we can do. But do you know why I want to be a multi-millionaire? Because I want to be able to pay medical bills for people that I don't even know. I want someone to be like, hey, this girl got diagnosed with breast cancer. Her family's having hardship. And I could be like, here's a check. Don't tell her who it's from. Because that's what I care about. That's connected to my identity. So those are the three little areas that I would say that you could start working on.
Yeah. And it's so, I love how you gave like the tangible steps for how to start building that if we realize that something's out of alignment. Because I do think that this is always evolving. We're always evolving as humans. Mm-hmm. And we were talking earlier as well, how, we met at an event. So we both love events. We both host events. And one of the things that I end up talking to women about more than anything, because you and I know if we can just get those souls in the room, something will shift.
Yes.
I actually think that it's a lot of these identity pieces that have people miss out on the opportunity to be in rooms that could change their life. Yeah. Do you find that too?
Not only do I find it, but so when people buy tickets to my event, when you buy a ticket to Confidence Activated, I call you and I say, thank you. Like, I personally call you. I say, thank you for coming. Why are you coming? And I ask them why, because I never want to lose touch with what was the scariest part of it. And time and time again, I hear, I was so scared. I felt like I didn't belong in the room. I felt like I was not far along. Like, one woman said, who am I to be in the room with that caliber of women? And when she said that, I mean, of course I coached her on the phone, but my heart broke, because the reality is that every single one of us still has an area in our life that we're working on. So none of us are ever really that caliber. Whatever you think that caliber of woman is, like, we all have something. And just like you and I were sharing before we hit the record, is that every time now that we've gotten the thing that we prayed for, it comes with these whole new circus of challenges that are it's a roller coaster of emotions, and there's tears, and there's good days and bad days, and sadness and frustration, and am I good enough, and can I actually pull this off, and what if they don't come, and what if they do come and I disappoint? That does not go away. But what does change when you have confidence and you're really rooted in your identity is the time elapsed between that negative automatic thought and between where your identity steps in and says, no, we don't think that way. That's not true. That's a lie. The truth is, I got this far because of who I am, and I'm going to continue going even farther because of who I'm becoming. That's not true, because I am supported. Even when I don't see the support, I am fully supported. That's not true, because even when it looks like it's not done, I'm a faith walker, and faith tells me that it's not faith until it looks like it's not going to happen. Then it happens, and then you get to see, like, oh, that was real faith. So when I think about the women who second guess themselves, and listen, the biggest excuse that drives me, I can't afford it. It's not in my budget. Let me tell you something right now. You know what I wasn't in the mood to afford? Cancer. I was not in the mood to freaking afford cancer. And yet, somehow, when I found the hospital that I wanted to treat me, who does not take credit card, who could only give them cash, like a cashier's check, somehow I found the $37,000 cash to give them. Why? Because my life was on the line. If you treated your personal development as if your life were on the line, you would find the money quick, fast, and in a hurry. If you stop drinking your Starbucks and eating your Dunkin' Donuts and driving through Jamba Juice and Robex and the green juice and the market and fresh, all of them, I'm talking to all of you. You junk food eaters, you green juice lovers, you have expendable income somewhere.
Yeah.
But you don't believe in yourself enough. And I really believe that.
Yeah.
If your excuse is, I don't have the money, and listen, there's no shame in that. I've said the very same things. There's two things, actually. Let me not just put it all on you. Let me take some responsibility here. Look, let me dial it back. Two things are happening. One, you haven't really connected to the fact that you're powerful and that you can be trusted to make this investment and to get something out of it. I had one girl tell me, I need to implement all the things that I haven't implemented from last year. No, you need to come and get in the room and get recharged so that you can implement all the things that you haven't implemented.
Yeah.
But the second reason why people don't spend money and they use the excuse of, I can't afford it or it's not in my budget, is because they don't yet see the value. And so then that's on our end. As the service provider, it's my job as the promoter of the event to communicate the value to you. Because if I get you saying to me, no, I believe in myself, and if I can make it work, I can make money. And then I say, okay, cool. So you come into Confidence Activated and you still hesitate to say, well, but then there's something I missed. So what did I miss? Do you not like my speakers, or do you not have faith that I'm going to bring great speakers? Because I don't always announce the speakers up front, because I just feel like I don't like to set itineraries. I do. You know what I learned last year? This is kind of off key, but last year I didn't have an itinerary because I don't do itineraries. I'm led by the room. I talk to the people before I get on stage. I'm listening, and I give you what you need. But I was and they were like, we need a schedule. Like, why can't you tell us? And Okay, I put a schedule together, right? At last
Uh-huh.
year at the end. So I put a schedule
Yeah.
together. I get on stage. I was like, I don't know what you think you saw on the schedule, but I'm going to tell you right now, some of that's not going to happen
Yeah. Yeah.
because I'm paying attention to what you need,
Mm.
and just, you're going to be fine. And
Yeah.
guess what? Everybody was fine. So there, I mean, there's all this area of responsibility, but 9 times out of 10, it's, I don't believe I'm good enough to be in this room. I don't trust myself to get a return out of this investment. I think it's my job personally, Rachel Luna, it's my job that when you work with me, when you come to my event, it is my job to give you the tools to show you how to connect with your identity, how to get you doing that work in the room, because we do the work in the room, and then to give you the actual steps so that you implement. Yeah. Now, I can't go home with you, but I give you all of that. And then, as we spoke in the beginning, then you have to decide. Yeah. You have to decide that you are done being who everyone else wants you to be. You have to decide that you're going to be who you were created to be. Yeah. And you're going to offend people and not be mad about it or sad or worried. I can tell you right now, I do not care if I offend you. I care about you. I care if you are hurt. I do not care if I offend you while I'm speaking my truth. My truth is my truth. If you're rooted in your identity, if you're firm in who you are, what you believe, what you value, nothing I say will really offend you. Yeah. We'll be able to look at each other and say like, okay, this is, my daughter said to me the other day, Mommy, you're making me feel. I said, stop right there. She said, I'm thinking thoughts that are making me feel. I said, okay, that's better. Yeah. That's better. Because I'm not doing anything to you. I'm just being me. I'm living my life. I'm speaking my truth. And just the same way that you have freedom of speech, I have freedom of speech. Yeah. And this is what I said. And then she said, well, I'm thinking, and that's the thing that we forget. No one makes you feel anything. Stop saying that she fat shamed you or mom shamed you or whatever. No one shames you. Shame is something that happened. It's not who you are. You're not a shameful being. Yeah. I don't buy it. They said something. You made it mean something. You thought a thought, and that thought created a feeling, and now you're butthurt about it. Instead of just saying to them, yeah, hey, you feel that way? Good on you. I'm rubber, you're glue. Huh.
It still works in adulthood. Take it from the playground to, I think we need it more as adults, quite honestly.
We do.
Gosh, okay, so I just want to pause here because I'm sure you're all feeling the same way I am. Like, just being around what you bring to the world breeds confidence.
Oh, so thank you.
For like, I actually really just want to like let that sit for a second. Like, truly, when I think about women who are showing up in their truth, paving the way for others, like being yourself and giving other people permission to do the same, not like we need it, but just who you are gives it. That's you. So I haven't personally gotten to attend Confidence Activated yet. I want you to share for people who have not been, what happened? Like, why do they need to be in that room?
Oh, goodness gracious. I wish that you could get in my head and feel the feelings. Yeah. So a couple things. So first of all, I am adamant that we spend more time actually doing work than getting motivated. I abhor events where it's like 2 days of like, you can do hard things. You got this. I freaking know that I can do hard things. And I know I've got this. I need you to tell me, how the heck am I going to do it? How do I have this? Like, why are you standing on the stage and I'm in the audience, right? So if I'm in the audience, it's because I believe that you are going to teach me something or remind me of something that I need to do. So the first thing that happens is we welcome you with a lot of love. And this is something that I take a lot of pride in. My entire team is trained to make sure that you feel like you belong. You are never going to be by yourself. like I train them. If you see somebody by herself, you go bring her in, introduce her to somebody, connect. I don't know if we're going to be giving out hugs this year because coronavirus, but
we'll see where we're at with all that after, in June.
Wear your masks, but still come. So, but no, we're huggers, like we welcome you into the room. But then from there, it's really a lot. The first day is all mindset. And why I devote an entire day to mindset is because this is the part that you don't usually work on when you're at home. I don't care what you say. I read personal development. Reading personal development and actually getting in the room and doing work and physically writing and journaling and going through the exercises that I take you through to reconnect with your identity. You're not like, it's an immersion experience. And by the way, if you came last year and you're thinking like, oh, I came last year, I did that, we're doing something different. So get your little butts back in the room because now we're graduating. And then here's the other thing that I did. This year, when you buy a ticket for this period, for the month of March, when you buy a ticket, you get the replays from last year. Why? Because I want you to watch the first session that I did last year, where I talk about all the things from your past that are messing up your future. I want you to have that foundation because we're doing something different this year. But again, it's going to be, I'm going to be sharing on the 4 root fears and how you actually not become fearless, but get to the place where you can recognize the battle ahead of you, which fear you're battling, and how you don't actually have to fight. You just have to move through. So, I'm a former Marine, right? There's a lot of tactic and strategy. Sometimes you go into battle and you're just head on. You're trying to kill people and get them out of the way.
Yeah.
But when you do that, there's a lot of loss. There's a lot of backfire from warfare. Sometimes it's better and more effective to go into a battle and go around it than to go through it. Wow. And when you know how to combat the 4 fears, the way that I'm going to teach you, you're good. Like the fear comes up, you feel the anxiety, you feel the fear, and then you know what to do because I give you those tools. Because then on the second day, when we actually do strategy, the fear that comes up, you're going to be able to walk through it. So when I tell you in the room, okay, you're going to write your sales script. Okay, now we're going to do a monetizing message. Okay, now you're actually going to call a client, or you're going to reach out, or you're going to put, whenever we have you do whatever tactical, practical activation in the room to help you make some money. Because so here's the thing that happened, and this happened last year too. I like you to make money before you leave my event. I give you homework on Friday, on Saturday. Well, Friday if you come to VIP, but I give you homework on Saturday before lunch, and I give you Saturday in the evening. So you have 2 opportunities. Then I give you homework on Sunday, and then I give you homework on Sunday afternoon. So you have 4 opportunities with the skills that I've imparted on you to go make your money. I want you to make your investment back. I pray, Lindsay, I pray 1 day a week. I pray for 3 hours for my event, for my attendees, that they get at least 7 times return on investment. One woman last year, Amelia, got 7 times the return in the room. Like she made, and she was VIP. So she made almost $8,000. Wow. In the room. Because I'm not here to inspire you. I'm here to impart. Is that inspiring you gets you to do something, but impartation helps you become someone. Yeah. I inspire you to do something, you only do it 1 time. I impart you to become who you're supposed to be. You can do action over and over and over again because you become the person that takes consistent action. Yeah. So that's a little sampling, and we have a lot of fun.
Is that it? Right? I mean, that right there is so representative of everything that we stand for. We say we exist to help women get out of their own way and into action around their big ideas. So if you're really craving an environment I think it's powerful when we invest in being in the kind of room that's going to create such a level of accountability that we can't quit on ourselves, this is the room that you need to be in. So where do people go to find the information about it? Where can they find you? Tell me all the things.
Okay, well, let me just quickly add that one other element that we're adding this year that we didn't have last year is we have a team of coaches in the room.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So every row is going to have their dedicated coach, their team leader, so that when we do these activations, if they get stuck, if that anxiety comes up, the coach can come in and just say like, okay, come on, let's work through this. You got it. Here you go. And I think that that's like super, super powerful. I don't see events do that. And I'm really proud to be the first one to do it. So you can go to confidenceactivated.com. You can use the code word BOLD, BOLD, and save 50%. Hey. And go get that immediately, if not sooner. We have 4 VIP tickets left.
Oh my goodness. Well, I was going to say, and this will air about a month from now, was the soonest availability. So you're going to hear this in April. We don't know if VIP will be available, but get your butt in one of those seats.
I could get VIP won't be available, but get in the room. Because, and here's the other thing, like I am in the room, I am on the floor. I'm not just on the stage. You're going to get access. I answer questions. I connect with you.
Yeah.
We came to spend time together. We're going to spend time together.
Yeah. And it's in Atlanta, correct?
Atlanta, Georgia. Yes, I'm sorry. Atlanta, Georgia, June 5th through the 7th, 2020. And it's at the Whitley Hotel, which is a gorgeous, gorgeous venue. I provide meals for you too. So lunch, Saturday and Sunday. You don't have to leave. You don't have to go anywhere. You can grab your food. If you're the type of person that's like, I need a break, you can take your food to your room. Do whatever you need. We've got a fantastic room rate as well. So everything is taken care of. You just need to get in the room. Get in the room and let me do what I do best. And I guarantee that you will walk out transformed. Oh, in fact, I have a money back guarantee. If you don't get a breakthrough by lunch of the first day, you can see anybody on my team. You'll get a refund and we'll send you on your way.
Wow. I just am so honored to have women like you on this journey with me, creating the events like this that are so necessary, because I do believe that when more people get into action around what they're uniquely called to do, that's how the world works better. So thanks for being on that mission with me. I'm just so grateful.
Thank you. I'm grateful.
I have a final question. Here it is. And you're going to love this. Yeah.
Okay.
You're going to love this one. So we're talking a lot in this community this year about really owning how great we are and being proud of our accomplishments. So how we like to phrase that is your powerhouse moment. Like, what was a moment recently that really made you, or maybe you're not even acknowledging it until right this very moment, but a moment that really you were like, yeah, I am a total powerhouse.
Yeah, I am a total powerhouse. I healed from cancer in 24 days.
I mean, if we needed anything else, that's pretty remarkable, truly.
My powerhouse is not listening to what other people say. Yeah. That is what it is, right? Because if we really look at the crux of, well, how did you do that? It's that I don't accept what people tell me. I only operate from what I desire, from what I have chosen to be my truth. And my truth was that I was going to be healed. Yeah. When people tell me, oh, you can't do this. Someone told me last year, you can't have an event and make it profitable. You can't have a good event and make it a profitable experience. I was like, bump that. It's going to be incredible for them and I'm going to be profitable. Yeah. And that's exactly what happened. So my superpower is not listening to the opinions of other people. I don't listen to what reports or doctors say. I listen to what God says and what God says only. Because the word of God says, let God be true and every man be a liar. So,
Rachel, thank you so much for hanging out today. This was so much fun.
Love you. I'm so grateful for you.